Tiny Turbo Changers. This is the blind packed series that I've done reviews of the first and second wave of these on my Proto Retro review channel, fleshing these out. It was a blind pack line of movie figures done in an SD style with simplistic transformations and a more malleable kind of plastic. Just, Hasbro cashing in on the blind pack gimmick that they've been, riding out this time, and this is their transformable stuff through their Tiny Turbo Changers. So now we have a Series 3 coming, and the Series 3, Series 1 was pretty much based on what was going on with The Last Knight.
Okay.
And so Series 2 was the same thing, just filling in those characters that Series 1 didn't do, like Hot Rod and Squeaks and stuff. And also once in a while throwing back to older movie characters. So now we have Series 3, and Series 3 is going to be under the Bumblebee The Movie emblem. And they've listed the 12 characters that will be available in the Series 3 release. Of course, again, blind packed. Now, keep in mind, like I just said before, the Last Night releases that they had for Series 1 and 2 possessed characters that didn't exist in the Last Night movie, or alternatively were just repaints to fill in the gaps. So like I know that Grindor was one of those characters, and there was a Shadow Armor Grimlock was another one where there was no Shadow Armor Grimlock
Right.
in the movies. It's just they just were going, well, we have this mold, we did a Grimlock, let's repaint it now.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so here's the list, and again, this is no confirmation of who's in the movie, it's just more who's in this Series 3. So first we have Barricade. Now Barricade has been the big rumored addition to this movie, that he's supposedly in the Bumblebee movie, but this isn't any indication of that.
It's just a good name to bring back. Like, it seems like they kind of lean on this particular name and this particular style for this character.
Well, and
For
also
some time.
because I'm pretty sure they want to use some of the molds from Series 1 and 2 and give them more traction, I guess is the best way to put it. Barricade was available in, I believe it was Series 2. I think it was Series 1 or Series 2, but he's a reoccurring one.
Yeah.
Is this a new mold? I don't know, but he is going to be available there, so that's one of them. Next one that we're going to have here is Sentinel Prime, which is, okay, so we're going to be getting that old character. Again, there's no way in hell this is something that's related to the movie. He died, and that's that.
Yeah.
So definitely not the case with that thing. So we're going to be getting him with his little fire truck mold. Here, Phantom Strike Lockdown. See, and again, when you have something like that where it's like Phantom Strike, it's right away an indication that this is going to be a repaint. Phantom
For sure.
Strike, probably a black repaint, if anything. What else we got here? Next we have, see Silver Knight Optimus Prime. This one here, they're probably just going to take the Optimus Prime mold that we've
Make
already
him silver.
had. Yeah, that we've already had thus far in Tiny Turbo Changers, and just straight up, I guess like you said, silver. Not much else that they could do with that. After that, we have Evac. Now, this one's the interesting one because Evac was a Universal Studios exclusive character. He was he was the character that was used for the Transformers The Ride.
Right.
And he was the only way you were able to get his deluxe figure was from the Universal Studios gift shop.
Right.
And he was, this bluish kind of Cybertronian looking buggy character. I don't even know how to describe it because he had a very unique design,
Like a dune buggy kind of thing.
yeah. And
Like, I'm assuming the premise of that is that you're inside of him driving around, I would assume.
yeah, and again, that's how, yeah, actually I think that's what, because I've never gone to it myself personally, the ride, but I think I think that was what the original intent was.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't see him being a repaint slash remold of something. I see it being a straight up new mold in this case, because there's no one that really looks like that. Again, even going back to the Phantom Strike Lockdown that we mentioned before, there was a Lockdown mold in the previous series, of Tiny Turbochargers, so they could just do a black repaint of that. Then we got Autobot Ratchet, same thing. We've yet to get that character in the Tiny Turbochargers, so now's a chance to be able to make a new mold for that one and get that character released. After that is Bumblebee. That could be one of many. Tiny Turbochargers had Bumblebee, which they did just in straight up yellow. Then they did a Shadow Strike Bumblebee. Then they just did a Bumblebee with a different yellow color scheme from the previous one. And then they did, Tiny Turbochargers had a Target exclusive 3-pack that just had like Bumblebee with red accents and this like X-ray vision kind of accessories and stuff. So my assumption is if there's a Bumblebee and it's the Transformers the movie, Bumblebee movie, this might be the Volkswagen. We might, because I can't see them doing a fourth yellow release now, again, using that same old mold. Then we have Sky Rage Starscream. This is another funny one because we had Tiny Turbochanger Starscream in Series 1. Then they repainted it into Thundercracker, lo and behold, for Series 2. So now it's like, well, Sky Rage, maybe red, maybe a red repaint. You know?
That's what I'm thinking too.
No, and you know there was a red repaint of Starscream that was I believe it was a Lawson's exclusive in Japan. It had a weird name that started with V, I forget, but could be that. Then we got Autobot Drift. We did get an Autobot Drift in the Tiny Turbochargers previously, but it was the red repaint again to match what was going on with the Last Night. This could be a blue one, you know, to match how he was before. That's one suggestion, although it wouldn't match completely how he looked in the movie mold-wise, but that's one way. Then we got Ironhide, same thing, character that didn't get a Tiny Turbochanger originally because he's from the older movies, so it's an excuse to revisit that character and give him a Tiny Turbochanger for that release. And, you know, considering that we have Autobot Ratchet here, we have Ironhide, we have Bumblebee, all we'd be missing pretty much at this point would be Jazz, and we'd have pretty much the whole old crew back together in this price point. Then we have Dino, same thing, character that didn't really get a lot of toys and didn't get a Tiny Turbochanger before. So hey, we got Dino. And lastly, Dinobots Lug, same story, didn't get a character before. Grimlock was the only Tiny Turbochanger of the Dinobots, so it's an excuse to put another Dinobot in there. And to me, if anything, for people who are kind of like scale people, you could take your Grimlock here and you could take this Slug and it could actually work as your mini Dinobots with your Transformers, because they never made
little babies, basically.
Yeah, they never made official toys of those mini Dinobots, so that could kind of fit in with that. And that's the 12 of them. So a little bit of to my prediction, it's going to be a mix of reuse molds with a bunch of new molds. It's going to be about 50-50. Assuming that the Barricade is related to the one that's going to be in the Bumblebee movie, that'll be a new mold, and the Bumblebee itself will probably be the Volkswagen, where a lot of the others will be new molds. And then you got stuff like the Lockdown, the Optimus Prime, the Starscream, the Drift. Those will probably be just straight up repaints. Just, you know, keep the prices down. And yeah, but looks really cool. They're probably going to be blind packed again. Anyone who saw my videos on YouTube of the reviews, they're very easy to identify. They just kind of put a stamp of an A to, I think, H of the lettering on the back of the bag that's embossed, and you just got to look carefully and just pick wisely. And they also have a little window where you could kind of see the color of the figure inside, so you know, if you look inside and you see yellow and it matches the letter, you pretty much know what you're getting. I suggest if these are still kicking around, the first two series, like if you go to Walmart, or more so even Toys R Us's that are closing down, but they're still kicking around these blind bags. So if you check out my videos on Proto Retro of the Tiny Turbochargers, you'll be able to find like how to identify and pick up stuff if you want to pick up these before this third wave comes out if you're a completist. And alternatively, Target has an exclusive 3-pack which came with an exclusive Dragon Storm. The only way you were able to get Dragon Storm was through this 3-pack. So that's another thing too. And I believe it's still kicking around. I'm not too sure at Target. Some Targets still have it, not all of them, so you'd have to look around a bit. But that's, you know, You have those 2 series, you have the 3-pack that wasn't blind packed, you just bought it, it was a 3-pack, and now you're going to have this Series 3. So more tiny